The second installment of Communique, my video blog. Communique, as in to communicate something important. I hope some important message to share with you, and for you to then communicate this message on to your family, to your friends, to your colleagues, to your neighbors, to your community leaders. Well, I'm standing right now at my home, and in the background behind me you can see the outskirts of the city of Bethlehem, and we certainly have a beautiful view from our home. Well, I was reading the newspaper this morning, as I do every day, Haaretz, and something in there caught my attention, and I wanted to share it with you. Well, the fact of the matter is that I've always been a big fan of Pete Seeger, the folk singer, the musician, and see an article today in this morning's paper. Pete Seeger, folk hero Pete Seeger turns against Israel. Let me read a little bit about this here. American folk music legend Pete Seeger yesterday officially joined Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions campaign. That's an international movement to pressure and sanction Israel through economic means. Now, Pete Seeger had been involved with the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, on a project here in Israel, and then he was advised that it wasn't a good idea, that the JNF was involved in things that it was no longer a good idea to be involved with that program anymore, and he has pulled out of that. That's very, very sad to hear. And he's now involved in boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Let me be very clear that boycott, divestment, and sanctions is another way of saying de-legitimization. Well, let me try that again. De-legitimization of Israel. Okay? That's another way of saying we do not recognize Israel as a regular, normal country in the world that can export and sell products, that can be involved in regular business practice. That's what this is saying, and that they're going to use this way of hurting Israel. And I have to tell you, I think it's very interesting that in this week's Torah portion, we read a different passage, different group of passages in the Torah, in the Bible, every week, until we complete an entire year where we have completed the reading of the entire 5 books of Moses. And so this past week, we were reading from the book of Shemot, that's the book of Exodus, and something in particular jumped up and grabbed my attention. It's very interesting how it speaks to me as we are reading about Mr. Pete Seeger. And I'm looking here at Exodus chapter 35, verse 5. And I'll look at it first in the Hebrew. That's God's language. It says here, Chu mitchem truma lahashem. And that is, bring your offering to God. And what is Moses asking the people of Israel to bring? Well, we're building the tabernacle. We're building the tabernacle, that's the Mishkan, and that's going to be in the desert. And he's saying, bring gold and silver, brass, blue, purple, scarlet, fine linen, right? Goat's hair, ram's skin, all sorts of things, items, products that are going to be used in the Mishkan. Well, the Mishkan later on becomes the temple. And here in the land of Israel, this is where the temple resides, not too far from where I'm standing right now. And so here is a passage in the Torah. God is commanding the Israelites, the Jewish people, bring all that you have to this place, to Israel, because this is going to be very, very important. And you know what? Everyone goes ahead and says, okay, let's bring whatever we can. It's very interesting that in the same week that we read this Torah portion about doing whatever you can, about building up this wonderful land and doing whatever we can to contribute to the tabernacle. At the very same time, Pete Seeger is saying, well, I think what we should be doing is not bringing things to Israel. I think what we should be doing is not supporting Israel. I think Israel's a bad idea. So we have these two ideas clashing, and so who are you going to believe? Pete Seeger or God? So, anyways, that's the question at hand. So let's go visit the Dekel Shopping Center, one of the two shopping centers that we have here in a front. I think that as we go to our stores and we go to our supermarkets, the question we have to ask ourselves, whether you're in Michigan or Florida or Frankfurt, Germany, or London, England, or wherever you happen to be, the question that I would have for your store owner is, what decisions did you make about the products you're bringing here from Israel? Are you de-legitimizing Israel, or have you embraced Israel like any other country in the world that has something to sell?